So hello friends, today I'm going to show you how to repair the stiff focusing on the very famous Micro-Nikkor 55 2.8, which is a fantastic lens, but then it has this very well-known problem of stiff focusing, and then as you can see in this case here, I am barely able to move the focusing ring. So we're going to open the lens, we're going to remove the old grease, and then we're going to replace it by a new one. So let's start the disassembly of the lens. I don't promise this video is going to be very linear because this is not really an easy repair. There are many things and many details you need to take into consideration, so please listen carefully, watch the whole video before tackling whatever repair on your side. So here I start by the easy part. Okay, so I removed the 3 screws holding the bayonet. Be careful with this lens because it is well known also because these screws are really tight in the beginning. I got it loose before, but then what I do just to avoid any issues, I take my J00, let me make sure it is a 00, okay, no, J0 screwdriver, and then I put it on this big handle that you have here, so I can really apply a lot of torque and then push into the lens. And then what I do is I push really hard with the screwdriver, and then I use my body to create the torque, and then this way I am able to get the screws loose without damaging the head, because this is also a very well-known issue on this lens. So be careful with that. So first thing to be aware of, then you pull the bayonet. This is extremely simple, it comes out really simply. And then here what I'm going to do now is just to separate the lens in 2 parts. So I'm going to remove all the optical part, and then I will be able to make some explanations to you after that. So there are 3 screws. I am removing the first one, so 1 screw here and then other 2 screws here. This is a kind of bridge. So you have it here. Then the last one here. Okay, and those 3 screws are the ones holding the body here, and then now if I pull, you see I'm able to take the outer body, and then here pay attention to the lever here. You see there is a slot that goes in, so be careful with pulling in. When pulling it out, so here, and then I have separated the lens in 2 parts, and then here I will be able to explain you a few things. So here you have the body, which has himself a few helicoids in and then now I am able to move it. So you will tell me, okay, the issue is not that big if you're able to move all those helicoids by yourself. But then there is a second set of helicoids here in the part where all the optics are in, and then what these helicoids do is that they're going to move the lens. Let me take something thin. It's going to move the lens relative in between the lenses, so you will have a relative motion between lenses and then this is going to give you excellent sharpness over the whole range, and then you will be able to do the macro function this lens is very well known of. Okay, and then this helicoid here is moved by this small bronze ring here, and then what you have here, I already marked all the positions if you notice. So before doing any motion whatsoever, and then this is what I did here, I went to infinity. Took me a big effort, but I went to infinity. I'm going to keep that position all the way. So this is going to put this block for an infinity position, and then what I did was to mark everything. So I marked this line here, and then this is the point where the screw is, because there is a small protrusion here that connects to the body here, and then this is what does the motion. And then here I mark also this position. I took measurement of the gap here, which is about the width of this ruler here. I mark this position here, which is the location of the key connecting this outer ring to the inner helicoid. And then last thing, I mark this position, which is a bit not very useful because this is the same body. And then here, if I try to move it, it is really hard to move. So meaning the problem actually comes from this block here. But anyway, all the time it happens also that it comes from here. So what we're going to do now is to disassemble. I'm going to start by disassembling the body here. I'm going to show you how, and then we're going to clean the old grease and add new grease, and then just after we'll do exactly the same exercise with this element here. So I'm going to stop the video for a few seconds just to go and get everything ready for disassembling and cleaning this, because this is going to be a bit messy. So see you in a few seconds. So I'm back. I'm ready for start the disassembly of this part. So I got a small carton dish. I have a lighter fluid that we're going to use later to start dissolving the old grease. Then I got a roll of toilet paper just for cleaning, a few cotton swabs, and then here I insist, and I'm going to insist all through the video, you have to be extremely careful when proceeding. Essentially you need to mark everything. So as you do, I already marked it here, the two positions where the motions ends begin, so I will know how to go when reassembling the lens. And then, for example, yesterday I worked with this lens, well, not exactly this one, another one a friend sent to me, and then what it happened is that someone already opened the lens, and then it got completely messed up on the inside. I was able to reassemble it properly, but then it took me like 3 or 4 hours to actually do that, since you lost all the references. Okay, so to start with the disassembly, first thing we're going to do is to remove this small lever here. Okay. And then to do so, there are 2 screws here. And then on this lens, be always very careful, because every screw you need to remove it's a trap, and then it can go wrong. So I don't take any risk. I use my really big screwdriver. So just to get screw loose, then I use my small one, just because it is simpler to work with. And then, okay, I got this, and then I get this small element here, and then with that I'm able to take out. Okay, well, normally with that remove I am able to take out the aperture ring. So this is the first thing. And then here I have this small lever, and then okay. And then okay, it was clamped by here, by the interior of the mechanism, and then this is why it wasn't coming out. So I just move it a bit, and then I got it released. So that's the first part. And then to be able to separate this front part from the rest, you will need to remove this element here, which is guiding the motion of the whole thing. And then here you have 3 screws. Be careful with those. Those are really tricky. So first thing, I make sure I have the perfect matching screwdriver, and then here I'm actually lucky. The one of yesterday was super tight. Okay, that was one. Okay, second one is also loose, and then if we're lucky, the last one. And here we'll be able to remove this part. So far so good. And then with that we will be able to separate the helicoids here. You see now the whole thing is moving together. And then here, okay, I think the first thing I'm going to do, just before doing anything stupid, just to make sure I am in the right position here. So what I'm going to do is to mark here that I am at infinity. So what I'm going to do is to mark the position here. You have to mark everything, so think about it. And then here, and then here, you need to be extremely careful. Get your pen ready, because you need to mark the position where the 2 helicoids are going to separate. So take your time. Okay, they are getting separate. it was at about this position. Just for me to be sure. If I go in, okay, you see I am already off. No. Okay, that was me. That was silly because I have the rod actually who is locking the position for me. So this mark, it is actually the right one. Okay, just let me try a few more experiments to make sure I will be able to go in easily. Okay, this helicoid here is extremely tricky actually to work. But then knowing the position where it goes in is already a big help. Okay, I am in, and then here, if I go to the position here, yeah, you know, you see, and then when I'm going to put this bar in again, so this is going to block the rotation, and then I will be at infinity. Okay, so this is the first part. Be super careful about it. Otherwise you will suffer, and believe me, I have suffered because of it. Okay, and then here we go. We have separated the two helicoids. Here I don't like, you could probably go further and disassemble this thing here, but then this is something I don't like to do, because the pain you will get for the benefits are very, very little, and then here you're actually able to move the whole thing and gain access to the grease. So I would say the benefit is not very big versus the buffering, versus the energy you're going to spend by looking at it. But then here you can access everything for cleaning, and then I'm going to start by showing you how to clean this. I had a toothbrush, then I think it's the only thing I forgot to get. Just let me get one here. Okay, toothbrush, and then here is where the dirty part begins. So I just apply lighter fluid, so I get the all grease to dissolve. And then what I do now, just to spread the lighter fluid. And then here, as you see, I start getting the oil grease out. So what I propose to you is I'm going to finish this part just removing the grease off the camera, and then we meet again, and then I show you how I proceed also with this part, so you get the whole view of the cleaning of this part. So I am done with the first part. It took me a while to brush and wash this, but then at the end, and you can see the part is very clean and then without grease. Now I'm going to proceed to the second element. Here I'm going to explain you how I'm going to do it, and then obviously I'm going to do that off the camera because it takes some time. And then here, as I told you before, the benefits of removing this element versus the time you're going to pass realigning everything is not very great. So what I do is I clean this helicoid locally here on the inside, and then here on the outside this one. So at the end, and the part you're going to miss is something like 10% of the helicoid, which is not a big deal in my opinion at least. And then anyway, the lighter fluid is going to flush a lot of the grease, and then once you're going to put new grease, this grease is going to go everywhere and then replace the old grease, if any. So, and then how I proceed with this is I start dipping lighter fluid into the mechanism, and then it's going to go all the way through. And then it's working already. Thing has become extremely fluid. This is not the goal, obviously, because the lighter fluid is going to evaporate eventually, so it will go back to a stiff state. So this is not the thing we want. This is why we want to do the full cleaning, and then this is the kind of solution that works for a while, and then you can get in cheap repairs. Okay, and then here we start cleaning. This is going to take a few time of brushing and then clean with the toilet paper. And then here on the outside you have this helicoid which goes until here, and then I would say the same thing. I'm not going to bother by disassembling everything because I'm going to lose my reference, and then that realigning that is going to be painful. So what I do, same thing, I'm going to flush here with lighter fluid, and then what I will do for the cleaning is I have this tool which is very thin, and then what I'm going to do is to wrap it with the toilet paper, as I'm doing here, and then like that I can come in and then do the cleaning on the interior. So this is how I'm going to proceed, and then you can see it works really nice. So this is how I'm going to proceed. I'm going to do that off the camera, as I told before, and then we meet again for the disassembly of this element and then the cleaning of it. So see you in a few seconds. So I am back. I am done with the cleaning of this. Took me some time, especially to access the difficult parts like this, but then worked fine. I threw away all the dirty toilet paper. I blew to eliminate any traces of lint of the toilet paper, and then now what I propose to do is that we reassemble this element here, and then we regrease it, so we can say we're done with this element here. So, and then here we have this mark, that was about here, and then here. This is the beautiful thing with the markings. You do it, you don't waste time trying to figure out where it should go, what you should do. And then here what we're going to do, just to apply some grease, just let me keep this thing in position. So, and then before probably I will show you, this is the grease I use. A few things we don't need. Okay, this is the grease I use, is SKF, and then the reference is LGLT2, and then, well, this is the size of the container. Okay, let me show you that more detailedly. And then this is bearing grease, high performance bearing grease. It works super fine. It goes down to -15 up to 40 something, so which covers almost every place on earth. So, and then it's very reliable. I use it for many lenses, and then also in my work, and then never had issues with it. Okay, I lose the position, and then here I put just a bit on the other part, and then obviously with time obviously I was super lucky the first time. Now I struggle. Okay, it's in, and then here we do some back and forth motions, and then here it is already, I can feel it already. It is far more simple to rotate this thing here. And then now we're going to do exactly the same thing with the interior part. This we haven't put any grease yet, so I hope you can see. And one of my lamps which was a bit away, and then here okay, and then here we can come and spread it a bit, and then here, if I am right, okay, I think this is the right position for the focusing at infinity. And then here I put a mark somewhere, and here we're going to assemble this immediately, so we can say we are done with this part. cut the first screw. A bit tricky to put this in position, but then once you get it, you are pretty much good. And here you see we're back at infinity, and then the lens here is super smooth, so we just need the grease, the new grease, to spread a bit everywhere. I can feel there is a bit of a hard spot here which is fading away, so you have to repeat this motion a few times before spreading the grease everywhere. Then here we can go and put this element here, which is the small fork that goes to the aperture ring here, and then the position should be somewhere like this. I just need to get small holes to match. And then with that we are done with the body, and then wow, really smooth. So great thing. Now we have to proceed to work with this element here, so just give me a few seconds. I will stop the video so just to get ready to the follow-up. So hello friends, I am back. I am ready for continuing with the repair, and then here we're going to tackle this part, and then once we are done with this we'll be pretty much done, since we already reassembled this thing and then it's working super nice. Okay, so we want to disassemble this thing, and then to do so we need to remove initially the top here, and then to do so there are 3 screws. So the ones with the small head, there are ones with the head slightly bigger, and then these ones are to hold in the diaphragm, and then these we are not going to touch because we don't have to. Okay, so I remove these 3 screws. So they have some glue, but you can force and then they will become loose easily. And then here, with those 3 screws away, we're able to remove this element here that we're going to put aside. And then here we reach the element we're very interested in, and then as I told you before, don't forget to mark all the positions that you have initially and repeating it, but it is very important So here I have the infinity position for this small protrusion that you have here, then position aligning this part with this ring which is attached to this prong here, and then this position that indicates the position of the pin here, this pin here, the pin here, that gives the position, actually the indication where it should be assembled. And then here you have to mark the position. Let me show it to you, this is highly important, the position where this small part goes, which is this part here, because this is all that is going to give us our infinity position. And then here, to disassemble, let's dissociate the things. We need to take out this screw, which is a bit tight, so I don't take any risk. I take immediately my big screwdriver and then here with a pair of tweezers and the right one, and then here you take out this part, and then with it this element here becomes free. So, and then here I can start disassembling this thing. And then what I'm going to do first, just not to take any risk, is I'm going to, okay, it's the other way around. I'm going to descrew this part here, which is this exterior. You see, it's quite hard actually. I think what I'm going to do is just to add a bit of lighter fluid. And then I think the actual problem of the lens comes from here. Okay, this is a single thread, so I'm not going to worry much about the markings, but then I think problem is here, the grease is really sticky here. So just to be really organized, because the next part is here. Okay, this one is also stiff. Is to clean this thing. The grease is extremely sticky. So what we're going to do first is to clean this element here. We're going to reassemble it, and then we will remove the next part, which is the one that goes here to the inside, and then the the grease is extremely sticky there as well. So procedure is extremely simple. So I apply lighter fluid, and then with my brush I start brushing. I do it gently, not to make a big mess, and then I'm going to proceed until I have removed all the grease here, and then I will do exactly the same thing here. So lighter fluid, and then we let it work until the grease gets completely soft, and then we can remove it. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this off the camera, and then we meet again for the follow-up of the repair. Okay, so I did the cleaning of this. I retread it again, and then what we're going to do is to apply the new grease. And then once we're done with this, we will proceed to the last helicoid, and then if everything goes fine, okay, so here what I do, I will do a few back and forth motions. Okay, but then as you can see, obviously I had a bit struggle to take it out, and then here, as you can see, it is actually getting in rather easily. So let me put a bit of grease also on the inside here. Just to make sure. I spread it a bit. Then here I go in again. I will do it for the last time. To make sure the grease is well spread, and then here I go back to my mark, which means everything is okay. And then here we're going to tackle the last helicoid of this lens, which is here. I take from the bottom, and then as you can see, I have this big thread here, which is also dirty, and then if I put my finger in, it is sticky. So here we want to be really careful, because we have also one glass here that we could remove, but then I don't have very good experience removing this element on this lens, because the screws are really tight, and then yeah, last time I destroyed a screw. So I prefer to keep it, and then just to be careful. So here I will do as before. I will stop the video while I do this, but then you see how I'm doing it. I'm just going to finish, and then we meet again just for reassembling this. Okay, I am done with the cleaning of the last element. As I told you before, now we're going to put the new grease. Okay, here let me show you something before. So this I just noticed, and then I made a mark. So when you will be putting this element here, there is actually two good positions that I saw. Okay, so you have this one, which is the right one, but then before doing that I got a different position that got me a bit worried, but then good thing I actually marked this position, because here I can see, well, it's not very easy to see, here I can see that when I'm going to put the key to connect these two elements, I will be in position, the holes are in the right position, but then on the other position I was slightly lower, and then this is what gave me an indication that I was wrong. So I put it again. So here it's making an ugly noise because we haven't put grease yet. So this is what we're going to do now. So, but do not worry much if you don't mark it initially and you didn't got exactly the right position, because this helicoid is rather simple to put, I would say. Okay. I come and then I flatten it. And then now, so what I did before was to mark a position. Once I found the right one, and then here, okay, I am in, then now with the grease is super smooth, so I do a few back and forth motions, so just to get the grease to get in position. Okay, so now we put everything as we aligned. In the beginning, we take the part that is the key to connect the two elements. We get it in position. We put the two screws, and then here we will make sure they're well tight, because this will be seeing a lot of force from the lens. Well, now since we have regreased it and then put new grease, the force will be lower. That was my screwdriver who fell into the ground. Okay, I'm back. Here I tied quite well, so what I'm going to do is to take the big screwdriver and then everything looks extremely fine. So what we can do now is to put back this thing, and then I have also a line to mark the position it should go, and then good thing I'm spot on with the holes, which which is great news. So this means we have done the job properly. We don't have to worry about misaligned helicoids or whatever. So my bet is we can put the body back into the lens without any ceremony. Close my bottle of grease. And then here, okay, diaphragm is okay, we didn't touch it anyway. So here we go, there is one small slot here. I'm not very able to see. Black on black is very complicated to see. So, and then we have this prong that goes into that slot, so you will be able to see it in your lens for sure. Here we just need to wiggle a bit. We get in position, and then the indication is that this pin here is in the right position. Then okay, I forgot to align this thing. This is my fault. It is a good thing that I forgot, so I can show to you in detail how it is done. So I take out the body, then here I have this slot, and then what I have to do is just to get into the slot, and then I assemble as before. I just need to get my prong here and then my pin here on the slot which is intended for it, and then now I repeat the screwing of these elements here. Then have this, and then to finish we put the bayonet, and then the final test is obviously that we will be able to move everything without issues, and then checking that we have infinity focus, but here I am pretty sure we do. And then here now we're able to work the lens without trouble. Okay, so this is all I wanted to show you today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.